Are you ready to break free from the doubts and limits holding you back? Welcome to Embrace Your Value, where therapy meets coaching to help you unlock your true worth and take control of your life.
Hi, I'm Kristen, a trauma therapist dedicated to helping you heal, break old patterns, and reclaim your power.
And I'm Jen, your support coach, here to show you how to set fierce boundaries, embrace self-compassion, and step boldly into the life you deserve.
So, whether you're stuck in self doubt or feeling lost, know this: your value isn't up for negotiation. It's time to own it.
Every week, we tackle real issues that challenge, inspire, and empower you to live with purpose and confidence.
So, grab your favorite drink, take a deep breath, and let's get started.
Because you're not here to play small. It's time to embrace your value. Hey everyone, welcome back to Embrace Your Value. We are so glad that you're here with us this weekend. And I am here, of course, with my dear friend Kristen.
Hello, glad you're here.
And I also have my new friend Jess Lloyd, who's with us today. She is our guest speaker today. And so let me tell you just a little bit about Jess and what she does, and then we'll let her talk to you. Jess Lloyd is a Reiki master, intuitive life guide, and former Mormon turned spiritual rebel. She helps midlife women reclaim their power, reset their energy, and realign with who they really are. No more living life on someone else's terms. Jess blends science, spirit, and sass in her work, guiding clients through personal transformation with tools like human design, Reiki, and real talk. She's also a grandma named Happy, a self-proclaimed crystal hoarder, and a recovering people pleaser on a mission to help others find their voice. And Jess, I'm so excited you're here. Welcome. And I also
Thank
want
you.
to say that is the greatest introduction we've seen. So that is beautifully
I,
written and wonderful. So
Thank
I
you.
I
loved the
loved
whole
it.
thing.
I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Yes, she's a lot of fun. I'm telling you, this is going to be great. So,
All right.
Jess, welcome. Tell us about you. You take the floor for a while.
Okay. So like it said, I am a former people pleaser, and I went through a massive transition in my mid 40s, just before the pandemic started, and I left a high demand religion. And I had been in it my whole life. And when I discovered that it was not what I thought, it was devastating. Pull the rug out from underneath me and there's nothing there. Devastating. I didn't know who I was. I felt like everything in my life had been based around this. All the decisions I'd ever made, the choices that most people have were already made for me. And I had to go through a process of reconnecting with myself and learning who I am and what I want from life and what I don't want from life, because that was all it was a plan. It was, you do this, I'm doing this. You can't see my hands. They told us it was free agency, but it wasn't. As I'm floundering and feeling this loss, I came across a Reiki course online, and I'd only heard a little teeny bit about it, but I was like, what the heck? And I took it and fell in love, and I started using Reiki. And in that process, I was able to help myself put Crohn's disease into remission. And I was able to heal some of the trauma from being part of this religion and find peace, and to start looking at other ways of being spiritual. And I tried on quite a few things and realized, you know what, this I like and this I don't. And now I'm past that, and I'm feeling pretty stable and steady in what I believe. And knowing how hard it was to go through that, I want to help other people, other women especially, who are going through big transitions. And I'm finding that in our 40s, women do that. Like almost across the board, women are going through big changes in their lives. They're realizing they're tired of being a doormat. They're tired of being everything for everybody. And when you've been living somebody else's rule book, you need to take some time and figure out who you are, what you want, and set boundaries and stop people pleasing. And it throws your whole life into upheaval.
Absolutely. I know we both agree with that completely. Yeah, absolutely. So, our podcast is called Embrace Your Value. So, tell me something that you've learned about your worth and your value through this whole process. Like, where has that really brought you?
Oh, that is so cool. Okay, so what I was taught more through action than words as a child was that my value was based upon what I could accomplish. It was based on my grades. It was based upon how much of the scriptures I read, how many service projects I participated in, yeah, things like that. It was not based upon me as a person. I was praised for my sewing skills, not for me. And now that I've gone through this, I have deprogrammed that. I have worth. I have worth just because I am, just because I'm here. I have worth and I have value, and I am divine, and I am part of this bigger whole. And we are all divine and we are all part of this. I was taught that the people who belong to this religion I was in were the chosen ones. How many religions say that? But we had this smug superiority over everybody else. We have the only true gospel. We are better than everybody else. And it was wrong. It was so narcissistic and damaging and toxic. And where I am now is everybody has value. And it does not matter how big your house is, what your car is, what your job is, how much your money you have in the bank. You have value. You are worth having here and being a part of whatever you want to do.
Absolutely. For sure. And how brave to step out of that type of restrictive life and then come out and feel so amazing. It's a great story. I'm anxious to hear more.
Do you have anything in particular you'd like to know more about?
What was the catalyst? What happened?
Okay. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2008. Super sick. And I was going through the typical Western medication protocols, and nothing really worked great. My gastroenterologist was like, "You're special." I'm like, "I don't want to be special. I want to be healthy." And I went on a retreat for forgiveness. And I met a gal there who did a chronic wellness program. She had a whole bunch of chronic illnesses as well, and she had learned ways to manage it. Things like time management and working with your doctors and some mindset stuff. And I loved her program. It was great. It helped me a ton. And she said, "I'm going to do a retreat in the fall." I'm like, "All right, cool, I'm in." So I signed up for her retreat. In this fall comes around, and she switched her business from chronic wellness to being more metaphysical.
Mm.
And so she changed the name of the retreat was Awaken the Healer Within. And that didn't change over the whole process, but what the content did. And I wasn't really aware of what she was going to do. So I go to this retreat and she's brought in healers. She's brought in a massage therapist. She's got a gal who does Reiki, but she didn't actually do Reiki there. She just taught us about ancestral healing. And she took us through some movement, processing energy and stuff like that. And I came out of that thinking that was more spiritual and more healing than anything I ever experienced in church. So I get home and I think, how does this work with my religion? Because I do know as a believing member that this is a very restricted religion. Our lives were very much follow the rules. So I want to make sure I'm following the rules because I'm a true believer. So I Google it and I fall down the rabbit hole of church history. And I find out that there are a whole bunch of lies. And I'm looking at this going, this isn't right. This isn't true. This thing that I found on the internet, it was about shamanism and the founder of this church and how he had used shamanism. And that part was that was fine. And the history, it taught about the history of shamanism, which was awesome. Like beautiful story about how shamanism goes back to women and beautiful history. But then it starts talking about his life and things that he did. And I went, no, that's not what I learned at church. That's not what they taught us in Sunday school. So I go to the church's website and I put in the search bar the word polyandry. I didn't know what polyandry was. I did know that my church participated in polygamy in the 1800s. And then there's this article about polyandry and how they had done polyandry. And it's very much written, I want to say gaslighty, but not exactly gaslighty. And I was floored. I was like, what the hell? Then I found a bunch more information about my religion. It took 3 weeks to undo 44 years of testimony. It's taken more than 3 weeks to heal from that. But so I lose my testimony. I decide there's no way I can be part of this religion anymore. And I feel broken. I feel so lost. And that was October 2019. And on Black Friday, I found a Reiki class online and I bought it and I took it and it helped so much. It brought me peace, it brought me healing, and it gave me a place to put that need for spirituality. And as I was working through this, it didn't take very long for me to realize that this was such a beautiful thing and I needed to share it. So I opened my doors just before the pandemic happened. And I started doing free Reiki sessions for a while and mastered Reiki and how to help people. And then I wanted to bring coaching into it. So I took some other courses. And through the process of this, I discovered that I have psychic abilities. And I have learned that we all do. They get squashed out of us when we're children because they don't fit in today's narrative. They are scary to people who don't understand them. So I'm sitting in a session with a client. I'm in my kitchen and I'm home alone. And we're doing some ancestral healing for her grandmother. And I'm smelling toast. And I'm like, what the heck? And so I asked her, did your grandma like make really good bread? And no, but she made the best tortillas. And I was like, huh. And I just went along, finished the session, and then I did another session, and something similar happened. And it started with smell. Now, what's funny is I don't pick up smells anymore, but I do get words, emotions, images, feelings. Like I can feel an ancestor saying, I need to hug this person. And it's beautiful. It's so amazing. And I have been able to tap into spirit teams. So we all have these spirits, I believe. Okay, so coming from this religious background and knowing that people make up bullshit all the time, I put out there, this is what I believe is happening. Could it be something completely different? Yeah. But I believe that I am tapping into spirit and that I am getting downloads for my clients. Maybe it's just I'm really intuitive. Maybe it's just I have really good advice in my head. But I am able to pull out pretty easily what it is that my client needs to get past whatever is causing them problems. And frequently they all have similar stuff going on. Like people pleasing, especially in women, is really prominent. We're taught when we are tiny that we need to be the good girl. We need to be soft and demure, and we need to be ladylike. But you know what? Girls have just as much energy and fire as boys. And it is our right. It goes back to that worth. You are worthy of speaking up. You are worthy of taking up space. You are worthy of owning who you are and what you believe in and what you stand for. Yeah. And I think it's so, so important that we share this information as thought leaders that we are doing in our businesses. It's such powerful, important work.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really why Kristen and I do this podcast and why we bring incredible women on to share their stories, because we know that we're not the only ones that do this. And Jess, you probably don't know this. Our listeners might know this because they might have heard it a time or two, but Kristen and I actually met on a networking site because I reached out to her and said, hey, I see you're a trauma therapist. I have some questions about a client I have. And we jumped on a call together, which Kristen later told me, she goes, I never jump on calls with people. I always just tell them no. And for some reason, I was like, can I just pick your brain? Can we jump on a call with me? And she did. And I don't know, probably 30 minutes later, it was like we had a plan for a podcast. And we knew this is what we were doing together and how we were collaborating with each other. So that's how it happens. I share that though, because I want our listeners to hear that's how easy it can be. It fits. If it doesn't, don't force it. Move on to something that does fit. Don't always feel like you have to be forcing something, because it's easy and it's fun and it's enjoyable. And that's what life is supposed to be, not always hardship and heartache.
Exactly. It's so true. And that was not what I was taught. I was taught that suffering was righteousness.
And how heartbreaking. Oh,
Yeah. And I work with a lot of women in particular with similar religious trauma, where sacrifice and hardship is how you prove your worth and your value, and how much you can give to the church or your family, your husband, or whatever. That is where you get all of that acceptance and value and love. And that is, it really is heartbreaking, Jen. You're right. It's heartbreaking.
it is. It is. And I can tell you, as someone who was also raised in a church, but raised in a very loving church and taught about the gospel and forgiveness and the goodness of the whole thing, like I got a whole different aspect. Now, were there some things, yeah, and yes, I questioned it at times, and absolutely, but for me, it is my foundation and it does serve me really well. And so we're not bashing religion here. We're not
No,
saying that that's all bad, but it shouldn't be all suffering, and there has to be some goodness out of it, and it has to really align with you. Like you have choices, you have free will. You get to find what aligns with you and really works for you. So, yeah, I so love this conversation and every ounce of it. So, Jess, what was the question I wanted to ask you? No, I actually do have a question here, but I
None of
lost
us are mind readers, Jen. I don't know what you want.
at that. She can handle it. No, we kind of talked a little bit about this, but tell us a little bit about what your program looks like. I want to hear a little bit about you and I talked a little bit earlier today, but what does your program look like? How do you really help women? How do you bring them into your world?
okay, so I just opened a group membership, and up until this month, I've been doing one-on-one sessions. And in these sessions, I do Reiki, I check your energy centers, and I'm going to throw this little teeny bit out there, but the word chakra has been culturally appropriated, and I don't use it anymore. So it's the rainbow energy centers, and I go with that. And at the beginning of the session, I check your energy, see where you're at. And because of this intuitive skill I have, I can tell where you need to work, what's going on in your world. But I do like to offer and let you decide first. Do you have something that's going on that we want to work on first? But if you don't know what you want to work on, you just know you don't feel good, then I will use those skills and tap in and guide the session.
Just a quick question. I don't
Yes,
normally interrupt, but do you do this mostly in person or do you do it online and in person?
it's all virtual.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check that because if somebody's listening and they're like, I don't live anywhere near her. Okay, great.
I have worked with people all over the world.
Awesome.
So virtual is how I really mastered my skills because I started in the pandemic. You can't really do in person when the world is locked down because we don't want to die. So it's all virtual. And then by the end of the session, I check the energy centers again, see how we're doing, make sure you're better. I've walked people through things like releasing stuck energy, helping them feel it somatically in their body and finding it and using a lot of breath work and visualization to let go of whatever's going on. So in this new program that I'm doing, I'm taking from what I've done with my previous clients and building like a mini workshop that we do at the beginning for say half an hour, and it'll include a meditation and Reiki and a lesson about something in particular. We recently talked about the mind spiral. You get into that overthinking and you start beating yourself up, and how to stop it and how to replace those thoughts and to work on neuroplasticity and those kind of things. And then I open it up for, I want to call it love seat coaching, love seat healing, because I don't want it to be a hot seat. I don't want it to be uncomfortable. I want it to be more like you and I are sitting on the love seat and we're just chatting about what it is that's causing you problems. And then I help you either find your own solution or I help guide you to a solution so that you can move forward. Now, I am not a therapist. And if something comes up that is really hard, I will recommend that you go see a therapist. If you're having physical problems, Reiki can help physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's a helper modality. Use it with something else and it makes it work better. I will refer people out, but it's pretty fun and amazing. And I get bored easily. It gives me a lot of variety to do it this way. Then I'm taking some of the things that come up in the love seat healing and using that to drive content that I'll be teaching as we go forward.
Yeah, that's great. That's a lot similar to how I've done my group coaching too. So I love that. That's really great. Yeah,
Cool.
good work. Any
Well,
other questions?
I don't have a question. I probably should have said something in the beginning. We can cut this out, it's fine. But Jess, I'm also trained in Reiki.
Huh?
And I don't know if you happen to watch the podcast that we did with Crystal, but she did a lot of my intuitive work with me. I also use Reiki in intuitive work in therapy sessions as well. So I'm feeling super aligned with you right now.
Yeah, I
Like,
love that.
I know, I was like listening to your story. I'm like, huh, that sounds like me. I
That's
just took a
really
different
cool.
route. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just cool.
I think if I had found this when I was younger, I might have gone to school, gotten a degree, and been a therapist and worked in the psychiatric or in the mental health fields. But by the time I found this and started working, I was almost 50. And to go back to school,
I was 38 when I went back to school. This is my second career, but so similar. Like I found I needed a huge shift in my life, and I moved
at
out
right
of
about
sales.
40.
Yeah, about 40. And I moved out of sales and into therapy, and it's been amazing. And then I've just layered on with that. And now I'm also doing some somatic work and things like that. So it's so cool to find other people
Doing
that
similar work.
work. Yeah. And I always want to talk and pick their brain and
I'd love to talk and share, and we can do that together at another time.
for sure.
Unless you have stuff you want to ask me now, which is also fine.
No, I'm good. We can definitely talk later. Jen, did you have any more questions?
Don't really. I feel like she covered everything. And oh, Jess, your story is just so, I'm so tired of the word inspirational. I am, but that is the word. It is inspirational. It's uplifting. And it really, I think it's good for women to hear that while, yes, you're still working on your healing journey, and yes, it's taking years, it doesn't have to take forever for you to start down a path and see a change and a difference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely true. And healing, it's not a straight path either. It's go backwards and forwards and up the spiral and down the spiral. And at some point, something's going to happen and you're going to go, oh crap, I thought I healed that. And you have to go deeper. It's layers.
It is layers, and you're absolutely right. I actually had a really great business coach for a while, and I still consider him a really good mentor. And one of the first things he ever said to me was, he said, when you're on this journey, you're going to have your blocks, you're going to have your limiting beliefs, the things that get you stuck, and you're going to get past those. But then you're going to get to a new level, and you're going to think, oh, I spiraled backwards because I'm still dealing with this, but you're dealing with it on a new level. So I always tell my clients, I'm like, even if you're not building a business, gamify your life. You just leveled up. And so cool. Now you get to go through all the obstacles again, celebrate it. We were talking about celebration earlier.
Yes.
Celebrate it and really enjoy that time and that space and go through those levels again and save that princess again so that you can level up and do it all over again. And I know that seems monotonous, but really, what I have learned anyway for me is that sometimes the stuckedness, the things that keep me stuck, they're not as bad as they were 5 years ago. They're not as, I recognize them sooner. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what that is. All right, I know how to take care of that. And so the more I do it, the better it gets. Yes, there's still things that come up. There's still things, but they don't have to totally derail you. And you can still have a great life amidst all of the things. So yeah, I love that. But that's for me, I keep that in the back of my mind all the time. Okay, it's just leveling up. It's just the next section.
I love that analogy of gamifying it and leveling up, and you save the princess again. You go
Yeah.
fight the dragon again. But what's cool about it is that the more times you do it, the better you get it, the faster you go. And it's been really fun to watch myself see that in the past, I could have a setback and I could be out for 3 months. And it would take 3 months to process through the depression that came from the setback. But I had a pretty nasty setback on Monday, and I'm fine.
And it's Wednesday.
And I was fine yesterday morning. And so it just happened so much faster than what it used to be. And that, I think, is one of the biggest, beautifulest things about going through the healing process is it doesn't take away the shit. It just makes it so that you can handle it faster and get back to your life.
Yes, and it's proof that we use the tools that we teach everyone else.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
anybody
we're walking
who's
the walk with you.
Yes, anybody who's listening to this, they're like, "Oh, it's easy for you to say whatever." No, we're doing it too. I tell my clients that all the time. I'm like, I go through it too. I still have negative self-talk.
Yep.
We talked about that in group last night. I was like, I still suffer from negative self-talk. It's not like I'm the best one out there. I said, I just recognize it quicker and I can move past it. I can course correct faster. And that's really all you want.
We know that negative self-talk, it's not me. It's the story that someone else put in my head and it just pops in.
Yep.
And what we have to learn to do with it is to recognize it, see that it's not really mine, and bring in my own story.
Yes.
But
flip that script.
sometimes that awareness is really hard to go, oh, this isn't me. This is really my mom talking to me when I was 2, 3, 4 years old. This isn't me. This is my Sunday school teacher when I was 9.
Yeah.
This isn't me. This is the bully from the playground when I was in kindergarten. It's those formative years when those stories get implanted in our brains. And it doesn't really matter how hard or how easy your childhood was. We all have it.
Yes, absolutely. Jess, this has been lovely. And I know we could go on for hours, but we really try to keep this around 30-ish minutes. Tell our listeners how they can find you and know that I will also have everything in the show notes. But if you would just give them some ways to go find you as they're listening to this, that would be lovely.
Okay, so I am on Facebook. It's Jessica Lloyd there. And I believe it says life coach. I need to change that. But then I'm on Instagram at Jessica Lloyd Pics. And my website is jesslloyd.com. But what I'd like to do is offer your listeners a free toolkit that I sell it, but I'd like to give it to them for free.
Okay,
so
if you
I will
send
give the link for that, and that's where I'd like you guys to go check out. And it is a toolkit on how to work towards reclaiming your power, your voice. There's some journaling stuff. There's a meditation. There's an audio file of me helping you go through the meditation. You can do it either way you want. It's a pretty powerful little toolkit.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, on Facebook, you're Jessica what?
Jessica Lloyd. But I will make sure that Jennifer has all of my links.
Okay,
Yes.
because I'm looking for you.
And it should be Kristen on our information on the podcast sheet.
Okay, cool.
It should be on all that too.
I just wanted it right now.
Yes.
There's just a lot of Jessica Lloyds out there.
There is. I'm noticing that.
And that's why I'm jesslloyd.com, because there is a jessicalloyd.com. It's really fun. My dad thought he was giving me a unique name.
Well, it's okay. You know, like my mom named me Jennifer because that was her favorite name in the 70s, and everybody else's too.
Yes. Jennifer and Jessica competed for the top #1 baby name for
think
a 10-year time period.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Kristen, I was going to say too, if you go find her on Instagram, you'll see that I'm following her as well. I should pop up as a mutual person, and that's Jess Lloyd Pics.
Yes, because I didn't.
Or Jessica Lloyd Pics. I'm sorry. It is Jessica Lloyd Pics. Yeah. Okay. So, Jess, this was great. We are so excited you were here with us. And come back anytime you have new information, hit me up and we'll get you back on. And everybody else, thank you for joining us. I don't know about you guys, but I loved it. Hopefully, you guys did too. And yeah. All right. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for being here with us today.
If today's episode hit home, don't just keep it to yourself. Subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Because everyone deserves to know their worth.
Next week, we're diving even deeper with more insights and tools to help you break free from limitations and live authentically.
Until then, keep raising your standards, owning your worth, and embracing your value.